eşyalarımı falan al. Ya alırsan şu kadar al.
Terry, I did mess him at the end, so you're Terry on the other end. I'll see you.
The boy, yeah. And he was just going to make into a joke.
Just never stops, Vicky. You wouldn't get away with it anyway. It's actually this constant to the point that we haven't got any conversation.
I think it probably is, or on the
bridge.
On the bridge, yeah.
Hold the umbrella.
Gracias mami por la idea.
Este calor enseña que nada, que calor.
No, I think I just was too cold. I think it's only working like that.
Fíjate que me en algún lugar de la ciudad.
Ajá. Ay, esa es una excelente idea.
Pero yo no sé si es de
¿Ahora dónde vamos?
Vamos a pasar por aquí.
No, no vamos a pasear aquí.
A ver.
Great. Çek, yine yarım çek. Ayaklarımı falan al. Ya alırsan şu kadar al.
ഇതെല്ലാം കഴിച്ച് തീർത്തു. അപ്പൊ പുല്ല്
Couldn't do it one-handed.
bird that's like yeah. Oh, not there.
Guys, you all ready to order? Yeah. Okay, could I order chicken curry with Thai, please? Chips or mashed? Mashed with meat, please.
And the beef brisket pie, please.
Thank you.